Alright, so you see at the start of this video, um, and I want to expand on it, right? So I say God loves murderers. What do I mean by that? So I've done for the last few years quite a lot of, so, and this is just like some thoughts off the top of my head, right? I want to hear your guys' opinion. Let me know what you think, and where you land on it. Now, I'm very curious. But where I've landed on it is yes, God does love murderers. Now that sounds very brash on the surface, but let's expand it. So as I've done like my soul searching, tried to find like, hey, what do I believe? Where do I land on my beliefs? Um, and the one common pattern that I tend to see in among different spiritual scriptures that I've read is just the concept of love. And I think even when, as so let me give an example. Even some of the stories that I was like brought up with, and now I'm gonna give a Muslim example because I was raised Muslim. I'm not trying to make this into a what is the best religion. I don't give a shit. This is just an example. So, Prophet Muhammad, I was told by my dad that he would, when he would, obviously he was a very controversial figure in his life. So when he would be walking down the street, there was this one woman who would always just like throw fucking straight up garbage at him every time he would walk down the street. And he never, I forget the exact story. It's been so long since I've read it, but I remember something along the lines of that he would never get mad or anything. He'd still show her love. He'd still show her care. And then eventually she, turned around and she started to kind of get his message more, and they started being on better terms. But there's other such examples as well where someone will commit some heinous crime, and then God will still forgive and still love. I think this is something we as human beings are not quite as capable of doing. Like if someone hurt someone I love, in a heinous way, I'd say fucking kill them, throw them in prison, whatever. I don't give a shit. Give them the death penalty. But I think the results of this are being seen constantly, because when we treat people like that, when we, these people who do very heinous crimes, and we throw them in prison with other motherfuckers who've committed a lot of heinous crimes, and prison is obviously a place that lacks love in a major way. It's more or less filled with hate and negativity. Those people tend to come out even worse. And then when we see examples of successful rehabilitation prisons and projects around the world, we notice that they tend to have elements of love, tend to have elements of care. Because, these people that turn to violence and these things, some of them really are just fucking nuts. But, I believe many of them just have a lack of love in their life, love and support. And that's what leads them down certain paths. And I think eventually, as we, quote unquote, evolve to higher and higher levels of consciousness, we will eventually reach a point where there will be nothing but love. Some religions call it heaven, but there's always in every spiritual structure this concept of this utopia, and that's what I personally believe it to be. I don't believe there will be any emotion, quote unquote, allowed, for lack of a better term, at that point, except love. And that is why I believe, again, it's not something as a human and where I'm at, I don't think I could ever fully grasp. If someone did something heinous again, I want, they can fucking die for all I care. But I truly believe, regardless of who you are, what you've done, you're deserving of love, and you're deserving of forgiveness.